tiny forest fairy named Elara. Elara was a petite fairy with delicate wings and a soft glow that surrounded her. Despite her small stature, Elara was fierce and determined, often taking on challenges that seemed beyond her capabilities. Her curiosity and adventurous spirit often led her on exciting journeys through the forest, exploring hidden streams and uncovering new wonders. Despite the obstacles she faced, she never lost her bright smile and infectious laughter, spreading joy and positivity wherever she went. To the other inhabitants of Highwatch, Elara was known as the smallest fairy in the forest, but to those who knew her well, she was a force to be reckoned with, a shining beacon of hope, and a true friend. Despite her small size, she was an important member of the community, and her tasks reflected her importance. Every morning, she would wake up with the first light of dawn and start her day by dusting the cobwebs from the branches of the tall trees. After that, she would fly over to the nearby meadow and collect nectar from the wildflowers for her queen. After her morning duties, Elara would fly out of her cozy little home in a hollowed-out tree and explore the forest. She would flit from branch to branch, watching the birds and butterflies and listening to the soft rustle of the leaves in the wind. One day, as she was exploring a particularly dense part of the forest, she came across a clearing that she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent tree, unlike any she had ever seen before. It seemed almost otherworldly, like a beacon of light in the darkness of the forest. It was tall and majestic, with branches that seemed to reach up to the very sky. The trunk of the tree was thick and sturdy, with deep roots that seemed to reach down into the very heart of the earth. Its bark was rough and gnarled, as if it had stood there for centuries, braving the storms and the seasons. And its leaves were a vibrant green, fluttering in the breeze and casting dappled shadows on the ground below. For a moment, she simply stood there, basking in awe in the presence of the magnificent tree. Elara's curiosity got the best of her. She slowly flew closer to the tree. As she got closer, she realized that there was something strange about the tree. It seemed to be alive, drawing her closer towards itself. She flew up to the tree and landed on one of its branches. The tree seemed to welcome her, and she felt a sense of warmth and comfort that she had never felt before. She could feel what seemed like a pulse, slowly beating in the soles of her tiny feet. Elara felt oddly at peace even in this strange part of the forest. She flew off of the branch and fluttered around the tree, looking for anything to help her understand what the significance was. At the base of the tree, she noticed a tiny little squirrel sneak its way into a small hole within the tree. She followed the squirrel and was greeted by something she never even believed was real. Within the tree was a large cavity, and high above her was a beautiful crystal. The crystal inside of the tree was a dazzling and unique piece of beauty. It was shaped like a prism, with flat, smooth surfaces that reflected the light from the small sunbeams that shone through the tree into a myriad of colors against the wood grain. Each of its sides were made of a different color, giving the crystal a rainbow-like appearance. Elara flew close to the crystal, hesitantly to ensure she didn't disturb the serenity within the tree. Unfortunately, the pollen from the flowers she had gathered earlier caused her to sneeze, causing her to fly into the crystal. She gasped, however the crystal didn't move and hung solidly in the middle of the tree. Elara slowly reached out and touched the crystal, and could feel the pulse again but much more intensely now. Suddenly, she felt a strange energy coursing through her body. The crystal seemed to pulse with light, and Elara was filled with a sense of peace and tranquility. As she stood there, she realized that she could feel the life force of the tree and all the creatures in the forest, as if they were all connected. She realized that this was the tree of Highwatch, the oldest and most sacred tree in the forest, and that it had chosen her to be its guardian. When Elara returned to the fairy city and told the other fairies about the magnificent tree and the crystal she had found, they were at first skeptical. But when she showed them the glowing aura that surrounded her from touching the crystal, they realized that she was indeed the chosen one, the guardian of the tree. The city was filled with excitement and wonder as the news spread, and many of the fairies came to visit Elara to see the aura for themselves. Some were envious of her new role, but most were proud and honored to have her as a part of their community. From that day on, Elara made her home in the branches of the tree of Highwatch. She watched over the forest, keeping it safe and protected. forest as the guardian of Highwatch, and she was loved and respected by all the creatures of the forest. Years passed, and Elara grew old, but she never tired of her duties, and she never lost her sense of wonder and adventure. She watched over the forest until the end of her days, always happy and content in her home among the branches of the tree of Highwatch.